Welcome to the next series in the Project Management Professional e-learning module from Cognitel, a leading name in providing project management trainings to corporates, universities and working professionals. In this module we shall focus on project cost management. Project cost management includes the processes involved in planning, estimating, budgeting, financing, funding, managing and controlling costs, so that the project can be completed within the approved budget. On some projects with smaller scope, cost estimating and cost budgeting are tightly linked and can be viewed as a single process that can be performed by a single person over a relatively short period of time. The cost management planning effort occurs early in the project planning and sets the framework for each of the cost management processes so that the performance of the processes will be efficient and coordinated. Project cost management involves taking requirements from the stakeholder for managing costs. Different stakeholders will measure project costs in different ways and at different times. Example, for some items, the cost may be accrued to the project when the acquisition decision is taken, or when the order is placed, or when the item is delivered, or when the actual cost is incurred or recorded, for project accounting purposes. As a project manager, you need to be aware of the type of costs that impact your project. Fixed costs are those that do not change throughout the life cycle of a project. For example, if you are constructing a road, the excavators and bulldozers are fixed costs. For software development projects, the physical development space and development computers are fixed costs to the project. Variable costs are costs that change during the project life cycle. Construction projects usually have a long duration and can easily span several years. Direct costs are expenses that come out of the project budget directly. For example, if you have outsourced some of your development work, the developers are expected to put in a specific amount of time, which is then billed for. The developers' salaries are direct costs. Indirect costs are those that are shared across multiple projects. Indirect costs are sometimes also referred to as overhead costs. For example, in software development projects, it is common for a project manager or an architect to be partially allocated across several projects. Hence, the cost of the project manager or architect will be shared among the projects they are allocated to. Project managers are usually an indirect cost to the project. This is because their work is to supervise. They don't actually do the work. The people who do the work, like developers and designers, are direct costs to the project. There is another type of cost that is associated with projects. This is the sunk cost. Sunk costs are those that have been incurred in a project, but have not produced value towards the project's objectives. For example, suppose you have hired a freelancer to develop a website in .NET. After a month, you decide that the freelancer isn't doing a good job and reach out to another freelancer. The second freelancer convinces you that .NET is not the way to go, and that your website project would be better off based on the Java platform. The cost associated with the .NET freelancer would be treated as sunk costs. However, if the second freelancer could build on the .NET work of the first freelancer, then your costs would not have sunk. We will dwell into the importance of cost management during the planning process. Let us discuss the plan cost management process from project cost management in the planning process group. Plan cost management is the process that establishes the policies, procedures and documentation for planning, managing, expending, and controlling project costs. The key benefit of this process is that it provides guidance and direction on how the project costs will be managed throughout the project. Please look at the inputs, tools and output that go into plan cost management. Let us discuss the inputs to this process. Project management plan contains information used to develop the cost management plan such as the scope baseline, schedule baseline and cost-related scheduling, risk and communications decisions from the project management plan. Project charter provides the high-level budget that the project sponsor had stated. This high-level budget will help in the creation of the detailed project costs. The project charter also states the project approval requirements that will influence the management of the project costs. Enterprise environmental factors include organizational culture and structure, market conditions, exchange rates, project management information systems, etc. Organizational process assets includes historical information, lessons learned, financial databases, financial control procedures, etc. Let us discuss the tools and techniques for this process. Expert judgment provides information valuable insight about the environment. It may be based on historical information such as information from previous similar projects. The expert's judgment is based upon expertise in an application area, knowledge area, industry or domain, and may be included in the cost management plan as appropriate for the activity being performed. Analytical techniques involves choosing the strategic options to fund the project, such as funding with equity, self-funding, or funding with debt. The cost management plan may also detail ways to finance project resources such as making, purchasing, renting, or leasing. These decisions, like other financial decisions, affects the project and may also affect the project schedule and project risks. Meetings are the planning meetings held by the project team to develop the cost management plan. These meetings may be attended by the project manager, project sponsor, selected project team members, selected stakeholders, or anyone with responsibility for project costs. The primary output of this process is the cost management plan, which is a component of the project management plan. The cost management plan is the primary output from this process. It is a component of the project management plan and describes how the project costs will be planned, structured, and controlled. The cost management processes and their associated tools and techniques are documented in the cost management plan. The cost management plan can establish the following: units of measure, staff hours, staff days or week for time measures or meters, liters, tons, kilometers or cubic yards for quantity measures, or lump sum in currency form is specified for each of the resources. Level of precision, degree to which activity cost estimates will be rounded up or down based on the scope of the activities and magnitude of the project. Level of accuracy, acceptable range, plus 10%, used to determine activity cost estimates and may include an amount for contingencies. Recollect the control account from WBS. Organizational procedure links. The WBS provides the framework for the cost management plan, allowing for consistency with the estimates, budgets, and control of costs. The WBS component used for the project cost accounting is called the control account. Each control account is assigned a unique code or account number, S, that links directly to the performing organization's accounting system. Control thresholds allow variance thresholds for monitoring cost performance to indicate an agreed-upon variation to be allowed before some action need to be taken. Thresholds are typically expressed as percentage deviations from the baseline plan. Rules of performance measurement. Setting performance measurement rules such as earned value management, EVM. For example, the cost management plan may define the points in the WBS at which measurement of control accounts will be performed. Earned value measurement techniques like weighted milestones, fixed formula, percent complete, etc. to be employed. Specify tracking methodologies and the earned value management computation equations for calculating projected estimated completion, EAC, forecast to provide validity check on the bottom-up EAC. Reporting formats, defining the formats and frequency of various schedule reports. Process descriptions, documenting the descriptions of each of the schedule management processes. Description of strategic funding choices, procedure for accounting fluctuations in currency exchange rates and for recording project costs. Let us have a recap of what we have learned in this process. Plan cost management is the process that establishes the policies, procedures and documentation for planning, managing, expending, and controlling project costs. Analytical techniques involves choosing the strategic options to fund the project, such as funding with equity, self-funding or funding with debt. The cost management plan may also detail ways to finance project resources such as making, purchasing, renting or leasing. The cost management plan is the primary output from this process. It is a component of the project management plan and describes how the project costs will be planned, structured and controlled. The cost management plan components include units of measure, level of precision, level of accuracy, organizational procedure links, control thresholds, reporting formats, process descriptions and rules of performance measurement.